here for the latest. South side or the north side, not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball, but we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Ganty, so the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Straight rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? And for the record, Fiddler put this on the official record. We are 5 minutes early. So all of you that like to pop up in the comment section going, what took so long? Where were you? Suck it.
With some Vaseline. Sorry.
Yep. Little behind the scenes though. We definitely told each other we're going to start at 7:30. But maybe that's what we'll start doing from now on. We'll tell each other we're going to start at 7:30, and then we'll tell the public that we're going to start at 8, and then that way.
You know what it is? It's like I have a buddy that's always late to movies, and I like to watch the trailers. So before, obviously, the interwebs was as prominent, I used to always tell him the wrong time. Like every time.
Oh, yeah.
So he always was there early because he wasn't sure if that was like the bullshit time. Because one time I gave him like 10 minutes late.
Yep.
And he showed up, or I gave like the exact time and he showed up 10 minutes late. So
Comment section coming in hot right out of the gate.
Already?
I love it. Seeger Brothers on the north side. That's my wish. We're going to get you guys going to get them both. Had a little family reunion on the north side of Chicago.
A little upgrade from the Romine brothers. But
a little bit. So, all right. Well, fuck it. Let's just get into it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, November 11th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawaski, a.k.a. Father Zoe, and with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
Guys, I'm all the way in. I'm ready to get my heart broken because my hopes are all the way up that the Cubs are actually going to do something, even though they're probably not. I'm all in.
And the good Reverend K. Fids.
Yes. It's that time of year when Scott Boras starts comparing players to Sean Connery in his insane analogies. So it's about that time for the Scott Boras speech, which we're almost there. I'm looking forward to the the state of the Boras, really, because he might actually compare Nick Castellanos to Zorro and he's already compared KB to Sean Connery, so I guess we'll just continue on with this amazing content that he provides.
Yeah, I mean, we're November 11th, and we're already got a lot of Boras FaceTime, a lot of Boras interviews already, a lot of good stuff going on. So, it is the off season. It is. We are in it now. So, we're going to talk about qualifying offers. We're going to talk about what free agents are possibly going to demand. Cubs actually got an actual player. We're going to talk about CBAs.
I believe.
We're going to talk about reporters being mouthpieces already. And a bunch of fun stuff. So sit back, relax, and let's tap this keg. As always, this show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you're going to sportsmockery.com to find the latest in all of Chicago sports news. There is a little tab at the top for podcasts. You can always go back and see older shows if you miss us. But there's a lot of good stuff there. Turn on the push notifications on the app and get the latest and greatest in all things Chicago sports. Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. And it's also brought to you by us. Make sure you're going and buying that Pinwheels and Ivy's merch. And you can always support the page with the pinned tweet at the top of @PinwheelsIvyPod. So let's start with an actual human being. The Cubs got a real player. We'll start with something that's actually happened.
Nothing theoretical.
Instead of miles and miles of, this might, or he might be, or he tied his shoe with his left hand. And
you know who would be a great fit?
I saw somebody at Starbucks yesterday, and they got a latte with no foam, which means Boston.
So our friends in Cincinnati seem to already be showing their hand a little bit. Looks like they're doing a nice big old salary dump. And it started with Wade Miley. So, Aldo, what happened there?
I mean, like you said, the Reds are basically their 2-year plan of going for it resulted in nothing for them. I think they made it to the playoffs in the shortened 2020 year. They did. I don't think they scored a run, or they scored a total run, whatever it was. And then they fell flat in 2021. And now they're like, shit, we have all this money and we're not that good. Let's just get rid of as much money as we can this offseason. It started with their trade of one of their catchers, Tucker Barnhart, to the Tigers. That saved them, like, I forget how many million, like maybe 5 to 7 million, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then next up was obviously the Castellanos one. He opted out of his final 2 years. They extended the qualifying offer. He already declined it. So, they're at least going to get something for Castellanos.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other surprise that we saw from a couple teams last year was Wade Miley had a $10 million team option for 2022. The Reds GM, after the move was made by the Cubs, he was like, yeah, we were trying to trade him before we had to make the decision on the option. But, there wasn't a lot of trade interest in him. So they just put him on waivers. And the Cubs snapped him up, immediately, got him. Obviously, immediately picked up that $10 million option, and they didn't have to give anything up for him. They got a very solid pitcher, a guy who has a very, very a high ceiling. Obviously, I don't think he was like amazing last year for the Reds in 2021. I'm not expecting that kind of repeat performance, but this is a guy who can fill in and be a solid guy like 30 times. Next year.
Before you guys get too into it, if I remember correctly, he threw a no-no last year, right?
He did. He was one of the guys who threw a no-hitter. No, he was solid all year.
And he owned the Cubs.
Oh,
he's been solid for a couple of years now. He's a guy who, throughout his career is kind of middling or, going from team to team. But, as some pitchers, as they get older, they pick up on new things, whatever it is. They learn how to pitch, whatever. They learn new. I haven't dug into the numbers. I don't know if it was just maybe a couple of new pitches, maybe cutting the fastball, sinking it. I don't know what he was doing differently, but he's been a lot better, as he's gotten, past his 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So again, a solid first move. The Cubs need as much pitching help as any other team you can think of right now. This is a pretty damn good start.
He actually, if you look at what he has too, again, this is the best left-hander the Cubs have had since John Lester was actually good. I think this is an upgrade over what the Jose Quintana thing was. I think he'll be better with the Cubs than Jose Quintana was. And I think that it's nice for the Cubs to have a lefty that can actually get out. It's not like Lester was great. It was nice throwing a lefty out there, but at the end there, he couldn't break a window pane with a fastball. And Quintana, obviously the issues that he had, whether it's, just struggling on the bump or, cutting his hand, what he's doing the dishes, whatever. Miley's going to finally give the Cubs rotation an actual left-hander that gets outs. He had a 6 WAR last year. He was 10-7. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing that he's fixed over the last couple of years, he walked 93 when he was with Baltimore in 2017. He walked 50 last year. In the shortened season, and I don't know what. He didn't throw that many. He didn't actually throw that much in 2020. He only threw 14 innings. But he's from that 93, he's dropped it to 27, to 61, to 50. So he's starting to. I think he's just learning how to pitch. You could look at his numbers too, as far as pitching to contact, pitching away from contact. He's going to strike out 140 guys a year, maybe, which is not a, he's not a power guy. He's just going to go in there and get outs. And I like it. I like him as a 3. I think that's, if you're relying him as a number 2, you're kind of goosed, but a 3 or less, fantastic. That's a great spot in the rotation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think, it's pretty cut and dry. You guys are both good with it. Finished last year with a 3.37 ERA. A 1.325 WHIP. It's just like you said. You didn't go out and get Jacob deGrom, but you got yourself a solid middle of the rotation starter. You always need that good lefty down there too. So I think I was actually pretty surprised to see that it was the Cubs making this move this early.
No, and honestly, that's the biggest takeaway for as much as we care that hopefully that Wade Miley is still good in 2022.
Well, yeah, that's the big thing.
But this is a team since we talked about the last time we were on, how down we've been because the Cubs have shown us that they haven't spent in the offseason. Forget about just on free agents, just on on anyone, on any moves that you can a team drops this guy. Hey, they're basically giving you a gift. You don't have to trade anyone. Just pick up the money and you can get a solid player. The Cubs were doing this a couple years ago. The Cubs were just putting guys on waivers or releasing them because they were owing them $3 million. They're like, fuck, we can't afford that. So for the first time since 2018 or 2018, the Cubs are the ones being the aggressive ones. They aren't the ones being like, "Fuck, all right,
Well-
get this guy's on waivers." Well,
let's
start off.
let's not like go out and start popping the champagne yet. The Cubs are also notorious for making moves that are great for optics, aka Jake Arrieta, after losing all that make things look better for the fan base, and going and getting aggressive and really, a no-brainer, grabbing him off waivers, and it's a $10 million option. It's not like he's getting paid $20 million. It's a $10 million option for a 3, 4, 5 guy. That's a good move, but like, I'm so timid in ever going, oh yes, they're going to make some moves, because I have no faith in them doing things other than what the optics are like, because of course that's all they've seemed to care about since the fire sale, whether it's Dead going on 6 a.m. in the morning to the first radio show he could possibly get on, the Monday after the trades. They're always alert about optics and what things look like, and it's a nice move, but at the same time I don't trust this group any further than I can throw them, and obviously we shouldn't be throwing anybody with our bad knees. So we'll see how this goes. But if this is the trend, that's great. But what I've noticed is the move has increased the Cubs chatter. Like, oh, maybe we're in on Seager, and maybe we're in on Castellanos, and maybe, all of a sudden it makes for a fun, exciting offseason before they realize that they're not going to pay anybody that has a qualifying offer. But it does get people thinking, oh, maybe the Cubs are into it, which is great optics for the Cubs. But I'll believe it when I see it. At this point, it's a good move, but to me, it doesn't signal a damn thing when it comes to this.
Well, the Cubs have a lot of work to do to build back those optics. So
you got a $40 million payroll, and you added 10 more million.
But like, that's the thing. Like, obviously, yeah, like the optics are like cool, like right now. But like, again, the optics aren't going to matter if this was their big move when the spring training comes around. So yeah, like obviously, it's a wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
it is a good kickoff, though. It's a great kickoff.
Mm-hmm. Totally. It's nice, especially as the CBA lingers its ugly head over everybody, like the dark cloud and Charlie Brown. It's nice to have that one move under your belt. The other big topic of conversation around the league or around Chicago sports right now is qualifying offers.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of surprise. The deadline was Sunday, and it was pretty much standard who you thought was going to get the QO from their teams, got the QOs from their team. And then the White Sox list came out, and there was a big name missing from that list. And that would be Carlos Rodon. And there was a lot of sticker shock from a lot of fans because, Carlos had a great year for the White Sox. It didn't end how he wanted it to end. That's for goddamn sure. But Carlos Rodon was a very good pitcher for the White Sox this season. And to see his name on the list of, not getting the qualifying offer, or his name being left off the list with the White Sox tweeted out, it caught some people by surprise. A lot of people thought that it was a given, that it was going to happen, And for those of you that don't know, that are listening or watching, the qualifying offer basically guarantees the player 1 year, $18 million. That's the easiest way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping that in mind, I think it was a great move for both sides. I think both sides win by the White Sox not offering it to Carlos Rodon.
Mm-hmm.
We got some more information as the days went by since Sunday.
Chatty Scott.
On some of the reasons why. Well, yeah, if you believe a word Scott Boras has, you're a fucking moron. But
I meant to do that.
Yeah.
That sounded like to me. I meant to do that.
From the White Sox side of things, we saw Carlos he crawled across the finish line this year. You know what I mean? Like, he gave you everything that he had, and when he got into the playoff game, I'll never forget when he threw that one fastball that hit like 98 or like 97 or 98. He even looked like, oh shit, like I still got that. Like, fuck. All right. But up until then, like the last month and a half of the season, it was like, is this dude's arm going to fall off again? Like his velo was down to like 92, 93. He was still battling, and God, you can never call Carlos Rodon soft or whatever, but he went out there and he gave you every fucking morsel of what he can do every night with working with what he got, but it just wasn't there. In my opinion, it just wasn't. I wouldn't be comfortable with the White Sox dropping $18 million. That's not like that much money in baseball finances, but it's still a good chunk of change. And for a guy that you don't know that can go a whole season. So I think that's what made sense from the White Sox. And then that being said,
because you're talking about 18 million. Again, Miley, $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
And he also threw a no-hitter last year.
Robbie Ray made up $8.5 million last year.
Yeah. So like that the idea of the risk versus reward thing.
And don't get
and
me
there's
wrong.
a little bit of gamesmanship and class in there too. I think maybe perhaps they saw the writing on the wall, and maybe they knew he wasn't going to pick up. He wasn't going to accept that qualifying offer. Maybe that was true. I don't know, but maybe there was just who knows? They've been so good with him, and just being patient with them coming back. Maybe the communication line was always open, which is a really good sign for how the front office operates with its players. And they had a running dialogue the whole time. So when this came, it was like, I think we're okay with this, and I think that fans might not be privy to some of the conversations.
Right. I totally agree with that.
Get lost in that shuffle. I think that I feel like they've had such an open relationship with this that this just felt like the right move for everybody, and to let thank you for maybe you'll come back, but maybe not. But thank you for your time, and good luck to you, buddy. Like it's fine. The Sox do what the Sox got to do. Well,
if you know me, and if you've watched the show, and if you ever have beers with me, I'm a big. My whole stance on everything is, there's usually two sides to everything. You know what I mean? And it's
then the truth. And then
exactly. And somewhere in the middle is the truth. And it's crucial to really take a step back from most situations in life and try to figure out both where everything's coming from. And from Carlos' point of view, I don't even know if he would take the qualifying offer if the White Sox gave it to him, which Scott Boras now says he wouldn't, but that's hindsight and also bullshit. But if I'm Carlos Rodon, I had a very much above average year. You know what I mean? From what people expect. Keep in mind, he was let go and then the White Sox brought him back. He wasn't a hot commodity going into this season. He earned this publicity. He earned us spending this much time on it right now, and again, he whimpered to the finish line. And if I'm Carlos Rodon, in the back of my head, I'm going, I don't know how much longer my arm's going to stay attached to my body. I got to go try to get a 3-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go try to put ink to paper for a multi-year contract. And Scott Boras, notorious MLB agent, he's not a dummy. He didn't get to where he is by being a dummy. And he's probably thinking the same thing. We got to go and find a multi-year deal for this guy. Now, he could very easily get a 3-year deal from a team where it works out to be $18 million a year. Mm-hmm. But the big part there is he's getting that 3-year commitment.
Yeah.
And then the other part of news that came out was that this was done as a favor to Scott Boras. This was Rick and Jerry's way of getting into good graces with Scott, doing a buddy a favor because the main free agents that are out there that have been linked as White Sox pieces of interest are both, in fact, Boras clients. So some people are looking at as I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine type deal. We're talking about Marcus Semien and Nick Castellanos.
I think that's just wishful thinking.
I think it's huge wishful thinking, but I mean, it's being said on national radio shows.
The scratching part is give me the most money out of any other team. That's the scratching my back part.
Right.
That Boras wants.
And then you'll scratch my balls like that.
Yeah, and if you remember, it was probably just 3-4 years ago where the narrative was that Boras hated Jerry Reinsdorf and no Boras client would ever come to the White Sox.
But the last thing I remember about a big Scott Boras, the last 2 times I remember about a big Scott Boras client was Nick Castellanos 2 years ago. The White Sox never made a run for him. And then before that was Bryce Harper. Sox never made an offer. So,
and it was Boras too. And of course we've talked about the boogeyman complex that the owners have pushed on the fans with Boras too. But I will say this, you don't piss him off. Scott,
He's a
you
powerful man, dude.
You cross a
Powerful
Scott
man.
Boras client. You do something that is considered to be a slight on one. It's a slight on all, and it means it's also a slight on Scott Boras. And this is the one thing that Reinsdorf might have been on his shit house. He might have been on his shit list, and it might have affected this White Sox ability to get anybody under that Boras umbrella. I think that the Cubs are now a little bit in that doghouse because of what they did and the bullshit they pulled with, especially with the stuff that they did in that press conference after they traded KB and basically
I knew it was coming back to that.
They called him a liar. So we're going to look at the Cubs. The Cubs are going to pay I think there's going to be a Boras rate for the Cubs. When Cub fans that have been like begging for Castellanos, you're forgetting that he's a Boras guy. It's so weird that we're like, no, we can't sign KB because he's a Boras guy. He'll be asking for too much. But Castellanos won't somehow, even though he's just a Boras guy too. And so Boras is going to make somebody pay. And if you've pissed off Boras, and I do think that the Cubs front office has done that, I think that it's going to be harder for the Cubs to land a Boras guy, which is good for the White Sox because they've got the other team in the city that can benefit from Scott Boras going, oh, hey, Cubs, look what I'm doing. I'm going to sign with these guys instead. And so you have that gamesmanship. And he'll be over it a year or two, I'm sure, because people move on. But I think he does do that. I think that Boras 100% holds his grudge. And I think that he's going to make you pay for it if you've pissed him off. And I think the Cubs are in that. And I think that I'm not sure if there's any other organization in sports or in Major League Baseball this year that did anything to hurt a Boras client more than what the Cubs did. And I'm trying to go through my mind and rack my mind. There wasn't a burned bridge the way the Cubs did it on that Monday, the way they did it with that guy. So
the bottom line is, though, the man has arguably the best stable of Major League Baseball players under his umbrella. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a guy that you want to be on his bad side. I mean, at the end of the day, money's going to talk. Like, if some team offers his client an insane contract, even if the GM banged his wife in front of him, he's still going to be like, all right, let's make this happen. You know what I mean? But, like, I'm glad to see, things floating around that Boras and Reinsdorf and Hahn and all them are all buds now or whatever. And if not giving Rodon the qualifying offer gets the White Sox a Castellanos or a Simeon, okay. Yep. I make that trade-off 10 out of 10 times right now. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of this stuff is bullshit. A lot of this stuff is just using Twitter to negotiate and other shit. So that's my thoughts on the Rodon situation. You guys got anything that I missed? Or Aldo Frozen, an awesome position, by the way.
Scream! Oh, damn it! I was going for this.
Back too slow. No, the only thing I was
You're stuck in Undertaker mode.
Yeah, no, that was straight vinegar strokes.
Damn it!
Yeah.
No, the only thing I was going to say about Rodon, so he, made his first year is 2015. He made 23 starts. Can you guess the most innings pitched he's done in a year?
Without looking, I'm not looking. Both hands.
Looking. The most, or
both hands are
up. Career high innings pitched in a season.
82.
I say 120.
No, I mean, it's not that low, guys. Come
on.
He was healthy before.
Oh, it's above 120.
His career high is 100. Oh, okay. So it's definitely above 120.
142 final answer.
All right, Kevin.
No whammies. Well, I'm gonna. What did you say, Zoe?
142.
So I'll take 143.
You motherfucker! I knew you were gonna do it too.
Because the answer. So the answer is 165 innings pitched, career high. That was all the way back in 2016.
Right, I knew that wasn't anytime soon. Because the reason why I went in the 40s, though, because I was talking about Michael Kopech being brought into the White Sox rotation, which Han alluded to in his super late postseason press conference.
Oh, yeah, that was.
And the first thing I said was, I think Kopech's ready, and we talked about it on the show. I think, if you give him an off season of preparing to be a starter for the White Sox, so he's going, he's mentally working out and preparing to be a starter for the White Sox. But then Beefloaf asked me straight up, do you think he can give the White Sox 170 innings? And I don't think he can. I don't know. He's young and he's healthy, hopefully. And this whole we're gonna stretch him out narrative was dangled in front of our faces for fucking 3 months towards the end of the season. It just never happened. It was insanely frustrating. There were so many situations at the end of the season when you're like, this would be a perfect time to give Kopech 4 innings. Yeah, he sure did, Bill.
So you brought up Kopech, and that actually brings me to another point that also ties back with Rodon. So the two things that I didn't like understand about like the like whatever backlash there was like with White Sox fans, with the White Sox not doing the qualifying offer for Rodon was everyone's like, how can you do this? Like how are you going to replace like a 5-WAR pitcher, right? And like obviously we just went through, he hasn't like pitched a full year since 2016. It's not like a guy you can rely on. And you can't be like, yeah, next year we're going to have Carlos Rodon repeat his 2021 year. There is no way that you can like just guarantee that to La Russa, to your fan base. I do not believe whoever signs them, they're going to be just praying that like, please give me like in the 20s starts, Carlos, whoever signs him. And the other thing was on the flip side was fans being like, yeah, but they're going to have Kopech in the rotation. They're going to be fine. I think that's way off too, because again, it's a guy who hasn't been a starting pitcher for 3 years. And yeah, he's going to have a full off season where, he's going to get back into his normal routine. It's not like he's not used to starting. Obviously he's been starting ever since, he was in high school.
Right.
But there is a thing where, he hasn't pitched the innings amount, and that stress on the arm is different.
The wear and tear. He hasn't beaten his body up this way in a bit. And we saw it just like with the shutdown and then the shortened season and how it affected a lot of pitchers in the game. This way, it's going to affect him the same way, just not the same cause, but the same kind of scenario, which is extending out is not as easy as just going, I'm a starter now. You have to learn. You have to retrain your whole body to extend out. You've got to be able to save your legs. You've got to be able to keep, again, we always talk, I don't know if you guys, we've talked about it on here before, but like when the concept of he's sitting at 92. When people say he's sitting at 92 in the first inning and they're next to you, do me a favor, slap them. Incorrect. Sitting at 92 means it's the 4th, 5th, or 6th inning. You're late in the game and your velocity is still consistently hitting 92. That's the sitting. You don't sit anywhere in the first inning. You're standing, boy. That's where you're going. So,
well, yeah, we saw that a lot with Rodon, dude.
You've got to be able to sit there in the 5th. And so you've got to be at 70 pitches and still be able to dot and still be able to throw with good velocity. And sometimes it takes six to 8 months. I mean, he's going to probably have an early offseason this year to start working on extending. He's going to have to start beating his body up probably way sooner than he normally would in a regular, season to prepare for. So I'm curious to see how they do that.
Oh, shit. Although fucking Yumper already memed your shit. He caught you on your frozen screen.
No.
Mother of God.
God bless you, Yumper. God bless you, sir. At least he was nice about it. I would have.
Yeah, he insulted me with it.
I would have went with
your bad picture.
Yeah. That's hilarious. But anyways, I feel pretty good about Kopech coming in as a starter just because he's such a beast, as a physical specimen that I feel like I know it's a different getting your legs ready for 6-7 innings of work versus going out there and pitching 1 or 2 innings and all that. But he has an entire offseason, a real full offseason to prepare. And I don't know. I feel like it's time. Like they didn't trade Chris Sale for him to be a reliever.
He's going to be obviously he's going to be in the rotation, but I just don't.
Like, I'm good with him starting. I'm good with him starting the year as a 5th starter.
No, but the thing is, he's going to be on an innings limit.
Oh, yeah, probably.
No, he is. He hasn't pitched a full year since 2018.
Right. You could probably assume he's going to probably sit at about 70 to 75, maybe 5 innings of work, probably for the first third minimum, maybe even half of the season. And then you'll start getting those extension outs to 6, 7, 8. But really, you're going to have to see how the body responds. You won't know until you know. That's the weirdest and most gambling risky thing is you don't know the answer to this until it actually unveils itself down the line because you won't know until you've pushed it to the limit. You don't know what the edge is until you're actually over the edge. So this should be it'll be interesting to watch how the White Sox do it because now this is Katz. This is Katz being paid to do what he does, which is develop guys and get guys back to where they're supposed to be. And hopefully he does it correctly. If he doesn't, you'll know what kind of a pitching coach he is. But I actually have a lot of faith in Cat, so I think that I think it's going to work out well. I think when they start going with Crochet as well, I think it's going to pay off.
And
I don't think Crochet is going to be the starter.
If they're supposed to, I think.
I have a really.
You don't have to.
I think Crochet peaks as like a long reliever. Or a spot starter. I don't know. The White Sox rotation is very intriguing to me going into next year. If Dallas Keuchel is in your rotation to open the season, we got some problems. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. If Gold Glove winning pitcher Dallas Keuchel, God damn it,
elite defender. This is like what?
I watched every inning of every Sox game this season, and I'm like, when they announced that, I was like, how? What? Did no one else feel the ground ball?
I do remember. Like even when he was getting fucking rocked, he would still get some of the line drives.
Yeah, obviously you got a better shot of winning a Gold Glove as a pitcher when you got bullets coming back at you.
You got a lot of chances.
Yeah, a lot of chances.
Your field percentage is going to go up because you're like, hey, I got 1,400 chances, and most
when he wasn't blaming every other infielder and outfielder, he was making some plays too.
Maybe that's why he blames everybody. Maybe that's why he's so good defensively. He's like, fuck
I have to do this myself.
I'll do this myself.
I do it myself. But
why is he
Dallas Keuchel
out in left center?
Yeah, shout out Dallas Keuchel. Also, some other award winners. We got Liam Hendricks won AL Reliever of the Year for the second year in a row. That was a pretty decent free agent pickup last year. I mean, if you look at the important stats for relievers, Liam was top dog in all of them for the AL. I mean,
how do you feel about him possibly losing his job next year?
To who?
To Craig Kimbrell.
No, he won't be on the White Sox.
That's what Rick Hahn said.
You're talking crazy talk now.
Nope, that's what Rick Hahn said.
I know.
He also said that he's going to be trading Kimbrell and another player and some cash for.
And then all of a sudden, and I mean, Fids, what you brought up a couple weeks ago. Philly's GM straight up came up and was just like, yo, we need bullpen bad. Like, I'm going to improve our bullpen this offseason.
Wouldn't that be weird if that's happening? That would be an absolute perfect move for that second base spot. A dude that can hit it from the left side.
Well, no, that's not going to happen. You know why? Like, what are your expectations for a Craig Kimbrell trade?
They're very low now. They started high. They were very high. Very, very high. And
he has
now
1 year left. 16.
Very, very. I wouldn't say very, very low. I'm like more in the middle. I still think you can get Cody Bellinger for him.
I think he's more valuable to a National League team. I think we saw that he doesn't like that stretched out, widened out lineup. And when he has, I think he's better in the National League. He was better in the National League, as a Cub. And I think that when he got to that lineup where all of a sudden you don't have that pitcher spot either, or you don't
really good with the Red Sox.
Yeah, but not recently. And
he was really good at the Red Sox as a closer.
No, but he's saying in the last couple of years.
Since the Biden administration, I guess we'll go. It's the big part of what he does. But I think that a National League team might be easier to bite on. I think that there's still, at least you can leave that question mark saying, was it the AL move? Did he maybe struggle with that extra batting slot?
I mean, again, I don't think it was the AL NL difference because as Rick Hahn said it himself, and as and again, like it's not like we talked about it and we didn't necessarily agree with it, but it kind of came to be true. Craig Kimbrell probably wasn't that good with the White Sox because he's not in his usual closer's role.
Right, and he's not.
I still don't buy that though.
He's not, but he's not. How do you dethrone the back-to-back closer of the year?
Rick Hahn said it.
Unless he loses his
skill set.
Unless he's a mental midget, which is a red flag for a trade. If you can't make the 8th inning a 9th inning, then you're not tough mentally. Sorry. So that might be something else that's a problem. That might be the question mark. Is he tough enough?
I am not going to call one of the best closers of all time mental midget. You can go ahead, but that's just closers are weird.
Yeah.
No. Throw the 8.
They are.
It's the same situation no matter what. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Get Jason on the phone right now. Ask him if a closer feels the same getting the last 3 outs.
We're going to have him on
2-run game.
You can ask him soon, but I'll tell you right now, ask him. I bet you his response is, it doesn't make a fucking difference. Because he's a mentally tough guy.
Mark that video, Waldo. We'll bring that back.
And if I'm wrong, I would totally be wrong. I just don't feel like Jason's someone that Jason likes closing. Jason likes to get outs. He likes smoke rings. He's addicted to donuts.
I think think if you pull like, every single closer in Major League Baseball, and ask them, do you feel the same closing a game in a 1-run game in the 9th inning or coming into the 8th? I think they'll all tell you, or the vast majority will tell you it is different.
I mean, but
So hold on.
But it doesn't mean that. But then the tough one.
Again, I'm not saying that excuse Craig Kimbrel should still be going out there.
Guys,
and
we're doing that thing where we just say the same thing over and over again.
Didn't he throw the 8th for the Cubs for a while before he got his job back? And he was fine in the 8th. So he has done it before. I just don't think it's an excuse. I think that he lost his edge when he went over there. He just didn't have it, and it compounded. There's more expectation, maybe. I don't know. But I don't think that it's the 8th inning thing. I don't buy the 8th inning thing at all. I think that's a weak dick excuse to me. If Hahn wants to make it, that's fine. He's probably defending his player, but I'm not even sure Kimbrel would like him making that because it makes him look soft. And as a dude like Kimbrel doesn't like to be called soft. So I don't think that's the case. I just think that it didn't click, and it's a short. You don't have much time to get their ship right in the middle of a pennant race, and it just didn't happen. And he was so good for the Cubs. He was so good, and I think. In a weird way, I think the Cubs in that White Sox series are the ones that fucked him up because they're the ones.
By the way, Zoe, I 100% agree with you. I don't think Craig Kimbrel is going to be on the White Sox.
No, I don't think he's going to be on the White Sox. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say that they can go out and get like Gavin Lux for him or something like that. Like the Dodgers aren't going to give like a future franchise player potentially. They're not going to give a young guy, but a guy like Cody Bellinger, who is on the last year of a deal, who had a very down season last year. Yes, he had a couple clutch hits in the playoffs, but look at his numbers from last year's season. Is not good. It'd be buying low on him. I think Craig Kimbrel can get you a Cody Bellinger.
How much the Dodgers were in on Kimbrel before they got Scherzer and what's his name?
You got to imagine, dude. The Dodgers front office, they stack names on names on names onto that team.
They don't care. If it's $20 million, they'll take 20. They're the one team.
That's what I'm saying. They don't give a shit because they
no. But see, that's the thing. That's one of the reasons why I think. I do think that they can be definitely a trade partner for Kimbrel. But the other thing is, like, I think I can just see them going out there. It's like, all right, we need a closer. Raisel Iglesias, here's 3 years, $45 million.
That's true too.
I can just see the Dodgers like, hey, you like Anaheim? How about LA?
Yeah. And by the way, I'm just pushing this because I would be the first person in line at the White Sox store if Cody Bellinger signed with the White Sox. That would be the first Sox jersey with another man's name on the back that I bought in a long time. I love Cody Bellinger. I think Cody Bellinger is a beast. I love his swing. I love his whole I'm just stoned and don't give a fuck most of the time attitude. I think Chicago would fucking embrace the shit out of him. The 108 guys would love him out there in right field. Yeah. I think it'd be awesome. But because he hits tanks too. Could you imagine him playing in that field for a majority of his games? It's absolutely fucking nukes in that stadium. But
so hey guys, I hate to do this. Got to dip out. Got to head down to the Thomas and Mack Center now. Gonna go. Fuck the Wolfpack.
No,
Rebels,
baby.
Running Rebs, baby.
No, I'll stab you for that. No, but yeah. So again, guys, sorry.
Bet against UNLV.
I actually bet UNLV tonight. It's Gardner Webb. I think that Kevin Kruger is my man. So
it's not like the football team.
Absolutely not. No, they're actually they're on the actual right side of this right now. They're actually made the right hire for a head coach. Kevin Kruger, Lon Kruger's been basically his secretary, I guess we'll call it that. So this team is going to be pretty good. So if you got a UNLV bet, if they're like -6, -7, I haven't looked at the line. I'll look at it on the way, but pretty sure if it's 6 or 7, I would take them because it's going to be it's the first game back at Thomas and Mack since like March of 2020. So this should be interesting.
For sure. But, all right, man. Have a good time.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
So sticking with
and to Yumper's point, yes, Cody Bellinger can now officially replace Jock Peterson. Apparently, I have a thing for Dodgers right fielders. Is that your official stance? Yes, I have a thing for Dodger right fielders.
So. I mean, but again, wouldn't it be cool if Jock Peterson becomes like that unique story of guy who wins a World Series 3 years in a row with 3 different teams? Consider it so.
But also. Did you notice Jock in the World Series?
I know.
Because no one else did. He had like .062 in the World Series. But
That's it. He's
I
a
don't
good
know.
luck charm, though. Just
I
have him
think
on the
Cody
team.
Bellinger, he's your power left-handed bat. He's got an absolute hose out there in right field. He's a good defensive right fielder. I don't know. I think it could work. I think it could work.
So I think we
don't
talked
think it'll
about it a
happen.
little with Jordan when we had him on like a month ago talking about Kimbrel. So like, let's just say the season starts and for whatever reason, Craig Kimbrel is still with the Sox. Like, wouldn't you be kind of disappointed?
Yep.
Because it would be like, shit, we're spending $16 million on our 8th inning guy.
Right. I'd be very surprised, and then I'd be asking, why didn't this happen? Like, what were some of the returns offered to you?
And I think in turn, the scarier part would be like, oh, we were all kind of expecting that 16 million to go away to get another good player. Did we not get another good player?
Right.
So, and I guess we can switch over now to like some of the free agent talk. And again, I think, when we hear Jed Hoyer talk, when we hear Rick Hahn talk right now, it's all like, I'm not going to say it's BS. Like, obviously they're not straight up lying to reporters' faces, but like a lot of this is, quote unquote lawyer talk. They're giving non-answers. Maybe they're bits and pieces where like the one thing I did find a little interesting, like when Hahn had the end of the season presser for the White Sox, like when they asked him about right field, like when he immediately brought up, it's like, oh, but like we believe in Andrew Vaughn and Gavin Sheets.
Ugh.
I know at this point, he's just pumping up his guys. And I know, and I mean, Andrew Vaughn was like a high draft pick. So like, there's no reason that they shouldn't be high on him.
Right.
But again, if you have the opportunity to, pursue a Castellanos or, something like that, you should. And I do that little piece of like, oh no, immediately jumping on like, no, we have Vaughn, we have Sheets, we believe in them. That kind of screamed to me. It's like, oh, maybe they're not going to go for a right fielder or an outfielder.
I can totally understand why you would look at it that way. The way I looked at it is that's just Rick trying to like play shit close to his vest. Whose daughter was sick?
Kimbrel? I think that's what we're talking about. Kimbrel?
Oh, I didn't know that. That sucks. Hopefully, she gets better. That's terrible. I didn't know that was a thing. But I just think that was, I'd feel better than Rick coming out and being like, yeah, we're going balls to the wall for Nick Castellanos. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just trying to remember if at all, like when they.
He took the safe route. He gave the safe answer.
Like, I'm trying to think of like 2018 when they're going after Machado. Like, I'm trying to remember if he was also like as coy or if he was like, yeah, no, like we're players for them. I can't remember, but no, you're probably right. Like, I mean, these guys, they're all, because again, the right field market, outfield market isn't that deep. It's like Conforto, Castellanos, Marte is a little older.
Chris Bryant, you can consider that.
Bryant.
Marte.
Oh, I want to ask Kevin. I guess
Chris Taylor, Kyle Schwarber, Conforto. Conforto's a popular name in White Sox Twitter.
It's because it's a guy who's had a down season, so he might get overlooked, but he's been very, very good.
Mark,
I wouldn't mind him.
Canha
from the A's. Yep.
Not a big fan of that pickup. But
that seems like a Cubs signing.
Yeah.
Like that's it, because obviously, again, as much as I like the Wade Miley move, and Kevin was right, it's still a little. It's fair to be timid and not trust that the front office is going to go out. Like Cubs are going to, they have to sign fucking players because they have a lot of holes to fill. But like that, like those mid-tier guys is like the moves I see the Cubs making.
So the question being proposed by a very good friend of the show, Lil Yumper, he says, okay, so if you had to choose one big market signing, would you choose a right fielder or a starting pitcher? I would choose a right fielder.
Oh man, I think for you guys, I'd pick a starting pitcher. You could never have enough pitching.
I agree, but I'm also looking at which starting pitchers are free agents, and I'd rather have a right fielder out of that group.
What happened? I thought White Sox fans loved Marcus Stroman. Nothing? No love? You guys don't want?
I'm a big fan. It's just he's repeatedly said, "Fuck Tony La Russa. I'm not playing for him."
Oh, that's right.
So,
that's right. Honestly, I did forget about that.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Oh.
So that's just but
What about the
I'm
none
looking
of
at
the
the starting
veterans?
pitchers. You have
Scherzer.
Max Scherzer, Robbie Ray, Kevin Gossman, Marcus Stroman, Eduardo Rodriguez, Carlos Rodon, Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander. Like, there's a lot of old in here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm good on all that. I think if I was going to put a bet on it right now, I don't think Robbie Ray comes close to the season he had. I think it was a lightning in a bottle type situation. And I'd be cautious to offer him the money he's looking for as a free agent.
Like for right field, like it's Castellanos or bust, right? Like, would you want Marte? I didn't realize Marte is 32 already.
I would take Marte.
Marte kind of scares me on a 4 or 5 year.
Castellanos scares me on the same deal too, because the White
He's
Sox
DHing now.
White Sox don't have a great history of getting guys in their prime. They like to get guys on that back nine.
How old is Castellanos? Like 29?
Castellanos is 30.
Okay.
Castellanos
And
is
yeah, no,
30.
he can hit though, dude. He can hit.
Yeah, Marte's more of a more well-rounded player. I feel
No,
like
he definitely is.
he'd feel it. Both guys I think would fit in well in the clubhouse right away. But if they lose out at Castellanos and end up with Marte, I won't be mad. Put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's another question I'm going to ask. So I think the White Sox payroll right now with picking up Kimbrel's option, I think it's at $168 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone up just with the projected arbitrations and now that you guys have Robert, Eloy, Moncada on their deals,
Mm-hmm.
that's all kicked in now. So I think your payroll automatically shoots up 20% from last offseason is what I saw. So realistic, how much do you think the Sox are going to spend this offseason?
It used to be the number was always 180. You know what I mean? Like when you did your off-season plans, shout out Sox Machine, it was always like, be realistic, keep it at 180. That numbers has to go up for them to be competitive, for them to field the team that they want to field right now. They need to spend a little money.
But was it last year their all-time high salary?
Yeah, because of the.
So it was 145.
Yeah, I think they got to. If they want to compete, and they obviously do, because this, again, the fucking proverbial window that keeps being brought up it's open now. Like it's time to go. This is not the time to be cheap.
Just a warning for Sox fans: you have no idea how close that time can just
go
end
away
for you. So yes, you are complete, and that's why I said it back, 2018. Didn't matter that the Cubs had a big payroll. You can go for it.
It's time to spend.
But do you realistically think, again, Jerry Reinsdorf team? And I know they have spent. It's not they haven't spent. They have spent. Yasmani Grandal, that was a big signing. Dallas Keuchel, they gave a guy $55 million. They've made big signings. Liam Hendricks, $54 million. So I'm not saying they haven't spent.
Right.
But some of the I think Castellanos is realistic because I think he's not going to get paid as much as some people think. I don't think he's going to get the $125 million.
Right now, his average projection
85 maybe
is, and this is a well put together spreadsheet that has all the different estimates. His median estimate is 4 years, $76 million.
Yeah, so that's very doable.
Very doable.
I mean, just 2 years ago he signed 4 for $64 million.
Right. That's very, very doable.
I think he'll get a little higher than that, but I don't think he's gonna I don't think he's gonna sign for $100 million.
Right.
And that's what I've seen a couple John
the
Heyman
same
has it.
Chart has Starling Marte getting 4 years, $69 million, and Chris Taylor 4 years, $66 million.
So out of those three, who would you pick, or how would you rank them in your preference?
Just how I just said it.
Just okay.
Castellanos, Marte, Taylor. I'd be good with any one of those three. I'd be all right with any one of them. Because you still got a hole at second base, man. White Sox currently, as they stand right now, don't have a second baseman.
I mean, if you get Chris Taylor, he can fill both spots. You can put in Vaughn or Engel in right field when he plays second.
I do like the idea of the versatility of Chris Taylor because of that situation, having Andrew Vaughn, having Eloy Jimenez on this team, being able to plug and play people at TH and moving them to, different positions, that'd be sick. And I mean, the ultimate fuck you move would be if they went and signed Chris Bryant, but.
Right. But that again, he's definitely getting some of those projections were crazy low. He's definitely getting it over $100 million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this average projection has him at 6 years, $145 million.
Yeah, no, I think it was ESPN who had him like $18 million for.
I was laughing at that ESPN article because Homeboy preferenced it with like, "All right, I'm gonna go low. I'm gonna go low," and it's like, "All right, we get it, dude." And then he just like lowballed the shit out of everybody.
Low, very low. I think I wrote about Marcus Stroman and some of his projections, and I think that the ESPN one had him like 3 years, $54 million. Like what?
His average projection right now is it's like around 4 years at like 90 million. 90 to 96
you know million. What? I feel smarter now because that's what I wrote at the end of my article. I'm like, I can see him getting 4 for 90.
That's his average, and that makes sense.
Yeah. I guess the other question was, okay, so we already talked about right field for the Sox, second base. If you had to choose, and this is your only big move because it's basically going to take out your whole offseason spending budget. But if you can get Semien or you get like Castellanos / Chris Taylor plus, average second baseman, or would you get Marcus Semien?
So wait, run that scenario by me again.
So you can either choose from Marcus Semien getting the big, $100 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's your second baseman for the next 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Or you get like Chris Taylor plus like a average second baseman.
I feel like I'd take the Marcus Semien.
He's so good. He's been so good. I mean,
he's a finalist for AL MVP.
Again.
Yeah, and it's easier for the White Sox to get someone out in right field that's serviceable than it is for them to get a second baseman at that same level. And adding a Marcus Semien to this lineup would be fucking filthy. His average is right now 4 years at $111 million, so that's $27.75 million a year. I mean, does it come full circle? Does Marcus come home? I've already read a couple articles saying, he'd want to go back out west.
I saw that.
Blah, 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 but money talks. And the good thing for the White Sox, in my opinion, is that they're in a position now where they can just be like, look at this fucking lineup. This is where we slot you in. This is a fucking World Series caliber lineup. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's not just with Semien. That's with a bunch like Castellanos, like all these guys. They can just be like, look at this shit. Look at this photograph. You know what I mean? They can fucking but they're in a position now where they can do that. This has not been the norm for the White Sox whatsoever to be able to present like that. Like they actually have a recruitment pitch now to free agents. Would I take Schwarber as a consolation prize if I missed out on Marcus? And I would not. First and foremost, I don't see Kyle Schwarber ever playing for another team besides the Red Sox for the rest of his career.
I hate how much he's a good fit there.
Want him back. It's so perfectly like the way that Red Sox fans have like immediately made him a fan favorite, and like the uniform just looks right. The field dimensions are right for him to have fucking career numbers because that short porch and right. Like
he's going to have like 50 doubles just because he's going to have like 30 off the Green Monster.
Right. And if I'm Kyle Schwarber, I don't leave Boston.
Yeah, that just seems like such a. I hate how perfect of a fit that just feels.
Yes.
Because I do want him back.
Yeah.
Because I do believe the hype train was out of control when he first came up. And like obviously Cubs fans were, including myself, had these expectations of like, oh yeah, no, he's gonna be a fucking a 320 hitter, hit 50 home runs every year. It didn't come, but like it sure as hell looked like it's getting close to that now.
Yeah, it's just some teams are just a perfect fit for guys. And
I was gonna say with guys like Simeon and like Baez on the other hand, that's what I forgot to ask Kevin because I was like, I wonder how Chris Bryant is positioning himself in free agency. Like, I wonder if like the conversations that he's had with Scott Boras, he's like, hey, obviously he's looking for the right fit because like again, like there's the Mets talk again with Chris Bryant, and like as we've talked with Kevin in the past, there's like 0% chance that Chris Bryant goes with the Mets unless they give him like $300 million. And even then, I think he thinks about it twice. So I don't think it's going to be all about the money, obviously. I mean, he wants to be in a place where he's comfortable.
I
wonder like where it's like, hey, like, do you think I can like get more if I'm like, hey, I'm going to be your third baseman? Or if he's like, hey, I'm an outfielder now, I can play all outfield positions. Like, or does it even matter? It's like, no, we know what you are. You can play everywhere.
If I'm Chris, you guys want an all-star utility guy, like a guy that can literally play any position that you need,
like a power hitting Ben Zobrist. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, so as much as we talked about Schwarber fitting in Boston, I feel the opposite about Chris Bryant in San Francisco.
They don't want him back either.
It doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right. Like it felt forced. Like it just didn't.
I think at the beginning it felt right. He said all the right things. He liked
Chris Bryant. He's extremely he's polished.
Yep. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. But like like the Giants immediately were like they weren't. Everyone expected them to be like, oh yeah, they're probably going to be or like they're definitely going to bring back Chris Bryant. And then like after the season ended, their GM was like, yeah, like we'll look into it. But like it was just, and like we now know like I don't think he's going back to the Giants. And have you seen who has popped up like as an early favorite? I don't even know if you can consider it an early favorite, but the team with the most buzz for Chris Bryant, the Seattle Mariners.
Dude, the Mariners are already annoying as fuck.
They're like the Padres from like 2 years ago.
But the thing is, they got the cash and they got the farm system.
They have the cash, the farm system. Moves. They have the GM who loves to just do stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that is a good fit because again, I think KB likes it low key. Like what's better? Like you're just out in the Northwest. No one's gonna bother you. It's not like the fans aren't gonna go crazy. The media isn't a circus.
Yeah, no one watches Mariners.
No one's gonna.
There's like 27 people that watch Mariners games. They meet at the same bar in Seattle every day, and yeah, no one watches Mariners. I have a weird feeling that the Mariners. I think you put it absolutely correctly. The Mariners are going to be the Padres this offseason.
Yeah, no, I think they're gonna make like two big moves, and we're gonna be like, oh, Mariners, because they were close last year. I remember they were pretty close.
They have
making the playoffs.
They have some really great young talent on that team that's ready to make that jump into the big show. They have an absolutely stacked farm system. They have cap space, and like you said, they have an aggressive GM. It's perfect storm time.
I just saw this name on the Fangraphs top 50 free agent list, and it scares me not only for you as a White Sox fan, but also for me as a Cubs fan. Again, I'm not expecting the Cubs to go out there as much as I want Carlos Correa. I'm not expecting that. I'm not expecting Corey Seager. I'm not even expecting like Trevor Story. I think Marcus Semien maybe just because I think it might be a shorter term deal. Like it might be 4 or 5 years instead of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That the other shortstops are going to get.
Yeah, Marcus Semien's 31.
Yeah, so I think he's going to like 5 max. He's not getting anything past that. But there is a guy, an outfielder, that I can see either team signing, and we'd be like, what the fuck?
Don't say it.
Right fielder, veteran guy.
Don't say it.
Andrew McCutcheon.
Oh, okay. That's not who I thought you were going to say. But I thought you were going to say Avisal Garcia.
Nah.
Because somebody...
At least I was a little younger.
Somebody at another White Sox website, and I don't want to say his name or the site because I'm not here to like burn anybody. But he wrote a whole article talking about how it would be such a great idea if the White Sox brought back... And he wasn't being tongue in cheek. He was being dead ass serious.
Hey man, Avi's been better. He's improved since his Sox days.
Bro, I don't need a 31-year-old. 31-year-old Avisel Garcia is not the answer to the White Sox.
All right, pick your poison: 31 Avisel Garcia or 35-year-old Andrew McCutchen.
I've been such a huge McCutch fan his whole career. Like I love Andrew McCutchen.
It would set up the Sox for all the memes.
But I was gonna say, would there be a more White Sox move than signing Andrew McCutchen? And I'm already getting some people on Twitter already saying, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And White Sox fans are completely in the right to say that. You know what I mean? Because we saw Andrew Jones, Ken Griffey Jr.
Well, I mean, last year, Adam Eaton.
If they can't do that again, dude. Whatever happens this offseason, they cannot do that again. They cannot sign an Adam Eaton type and be like, this is our big move, and then try to sell it to us like it's a good move. Like White Sox fans, White Sox Twitter for a majority aren't dumb. And you know what I mean? Like no one was like, there was a small, loud group that was like, no, he's going to be a leader in this clubhouse. He's going to do all that. Bro, he didn't even finish the fucking season with the team. Like he was brutal.
He was pretty much useless after April.
He was brutal. He had like 2 good series to start the season, and it was just trash after that. He didn't even finished the season on a team. The Angels got him.
Yeah, the Angels got
the Angels.
God.
He couldn't stay on that goddamn Angels. When you say it out loud, it's brutal. And the fact that they try to like sell it like this was the best option for us. No, it was the cheap option.
Yeah.
And so they can't do that to me again. Not with the team that back-to-back first round exits, a team that's built to compete. They just need to be better.
The more you say it, the more I can see it.
I love Kutch. I love Kutch.
I could see it. Be like, hey,
Kutch,
man.
I feel the exact opposite of how I feel about Kutch than I do about Adam Eaton.
So would you be all right with it?
Not as a starter.
Okay.
If he's like the new what's his face? The guy who did the super
Goodwin? Brian Goodwin?
Goodwin. Yeah, if he's like the new Goodwin, cool. But you can't sign Kutch and be like, we got our starting right fielder. No, you don't.
So obviously, I'm coming from an outsider's perspective here, not being a White Sox fan. And again, I mentioned it. Yes, they've spent more money on the Cubs like in the past 3 years. But I don't know why. I think it's the same thinking that Kevin has towards the Cubs that I do. I just can't see this offseason ending with the Sox making like that one huge move. I don't know why. Like the payroll number I see, I'm like, it's already at 168. It's the highest it's ever been. There's all this CBA uncertainty. And obviously, like the moves that they make, they'll probably make them after a new deal is like reached with like, who knows how long that's going to take. But I don't know why I can't see that one big sign. Like, I guess I would still consider Chris Taylor a big signing. So maybe I do. But like, I think that's the ceiling I see.
Well, see, that's what I think we have to define what a big signing is. Because out of all the names we've thrown out today, I think Marcus Semien is a big signing.
I think there's like no shot you guys are in the running for him.
I don't think Marcus Semien. I think that's just not going to happen. But I don't think Castellanos, Marte, or Taylor would be like a big signing. Big signings to me are like
$20 million a year.
Manny Machado, Marcus Semien. Like those are big signings to me. Marcus Semien is a big signing. Marcus Semien is an MVP finalist. That's a big fucking signing.
Well, let's see. What was Grandal's deal? 71 for 3?
I believe so. Yeah.
So yeah, so he was making like 20, almost 24 million. So yeah, like, I think I consider like anything 20 and above per year. A big signing.
So I think you can get Castellanos for 19 a year. I think you get Marte for around 17. I think you can get Chris Taylor for around 16.
Like in my head, I don't know.
That's why I don't think those are big signings. I think they're just big because
like they're good. They're good signing. Yeah, no, you're right. I guess we're just doing
consider like could you see more of a Michael Conforto signing?
Yeah, like I can see something like that. Yeah,
I can definitely. I really, when all is said and done, I think that's who the White Sox are going to end up with.
I can see like a short, like a 2-3 year deal.
I can
Like
see
maybe,
Conforto. I can even see him almost getting like 3 years, 51 million, so 17 a year.
yeah,
I can definitely
yeah.
see that happening. And you know what? I'd feel a lot better than an Adam Eaton deal. You know,
Oh no,
Michael
definitely
Conforto's
Michael Conforto.
yeah,
Michael Conforto, he's hurt and he's had one bad season.
right.
Like Michael Conforto's like, if you guys get Michael Conforto, I'd be like, hey, that was a really, really good move.
Yes, I'd be all for it.
I guess you're right. I guess at the end of the day, it's just like playing semantics there with the, the verb or the adjectives there.
But that's what I'm saying. The big offseason signings, free agent wise, for me this year are like Carlos Correa, Corey
Right.
Seager. Well, Freddie Freeman's not leaving Atlanta, but like Chris Bryant, I would consider a big signing.
Yeah.
Trevor Story, Robbie Ray, Marcus Simeon. Those are big signings to me. Everybody else is, I think, fair game for the White Sox. But
Okay.
I do agree with you. I don't. Out of all those names I just listed, I don't think the White Sox get any of them.
Okay, no, all right. No, I was just trying to base off, like what you thought a realistic signing would be. And like, no, I think when you broke it down like that, I do agree. Like getting I guess I don't know why. I just don't. It doesn't make any sense. Why didn't the White Sox just get Castellanos 2 years ago? I don't get why. Why are they going to wait? Why would they do that 2 years later when he's 2 years older? Like, I guess that's the
White Sox way, man. They love getting dudes right after their prime.
And that's the thing. Like all these guys, they're 31, 32, 30. It's not like they're on the other side at 30.
Also, but I'm not trying to get a guy right now for a long haul.
That's true. You're trying to win now.
A fucking win now situation.
And that's why at the end of the day, whoever you do get, it doesn't even matter because you're trying to maximize like the very next year, which is 2022. Because again, you can have the good position players. You don't know how long the pitching is going to stand up or hold up for.
Exactly.
So you need to just strike as soon as you can.
The White Sox front office has to be 100% focused on winning the World Series in 2022.
Yeah.
They can't be worried about 2025, 2026. They need to focus on winning a World Series in 2022. Jose Abreu is 172 years old. You don't have many more seasons of Jose producing at the high level we're accustomed to.
Like I think the only year they have to worry about, and it's not even getting guys to win like for that year. It's like, hey, this is kind of our timetable of hopefully we get one by then. Is whenever Giolito becomes a free agent. Because I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe completely off of it. But it doesn't seem like he's going to be a guy who signs the early deal.
He said that he's open to so he was at the World Series to watch his homeboy pitch.
Yeah.
And he got cornered by a couple reporters and they were asking him and he's like, I'm willing to talk. They know my phone number. They haven't called me yet. And he just said, and then he did the whole, I want to be a White Sox my whole career and blah, 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 whatever.
So it's 2024 after 3 more seasons guaranteed with Gio.
Yeah. And I would love to see him get it done this year, but I don't see that. I think they're going to hopefully have a little conversation with him being like, listen, man, we want to get this done with you, but we really got to focus on going out and signing Nick Castellanos. You know what I mean? Like they just,
yeah.
I mean, Lucas had a phenomenal second half of the season. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to be done. The GM meetings, are they going on like right now?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, all of this is completely moot because we have these CBA.
What was the Heyman tweet? Like, this is the worst it's been in 2.5
months of hell or something like that. I mean, you guys, I've said it so many damn times on this show. Just remember when you're reading tweets and getting information where it's coming from. Know who's tweeting it, know who's writing it, and know their history of who they're doing it for. That's, yeah.
But like all the talk is right now, there's There's
They're
not a
close.
lot of hope for anything to happen December 1st, which is the deadline to get a new CBA.
No. And I still stand strong with my I think opening day is going to happen on opening day.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think we're gonna be in danger of this is gonna last. I think it's gonna be the usual, or not the usual, but like things as things have stood like the past few years. A lot of the big moves, like many of the moves, haven't happened until like after the year, like after the new year. I think we're just gonna see the same thing where like the big free agent side until February, maybe March. We'll see a handful of deals in January. But I don't think we're going to be like March 1st. Holy shit. They're not even at spring training yet.
I would 100% though love for the White Sox to do what they did with Grandal and just get it done early.
Right away.
Yeah.
I wonder how much like the whole uncertainty plays into some of the guys signing bigger deals. Because we saw the Dodgers signing the pitcher Haney.
Yeah, for $8.5 million.
For $8.5 million.
That's pocket change to them.
But like there's been like other very minor signings, like 1 year, 1 million. But again, there hasn't been anything.
No, I don't think.
And I don't think there will be.
Anyone that's considered like a top 25 free agent this season is signing before that CBA is done.
Yeah.
So just kind of sit back, everybody, relax, have a little speculation party, start putting out, who
By the way, have you put together your Sox offseason plan?
Dude, I barely have time to do this show right now, let alone fucking sit down and type all that shit up between the 1-year-old and actual 9-to-5 job and other shit. Like,
get Brody's thoughts on what Keuchel can get in a trade.
Yeah, I think Brody throws harder than Keuchel right now. Any chance on Javi going to the Sox?
I don't think that's. I don't know. Yeah. Because I think that was the thing I was going to bring up with Simeon. It's like Simeon, he played second base because he just signed like the 1-year prove-it deal with the Blue Jays. Because obviously they have Bo Bichette, but he's been a shortstop his entire career. So like, is he going to be like, hey, I'll play second base, but you have to pay me like a shortstop? Or like, how are those conversations going to go? And I think that's the same thing with Baez.
Yeah, I think they made such a big deal of Javi's friendship with Lindor, and now they're finally in the same spot. The idea of them having a full spring training off season and into a full season together in New York, where for a guy like Javi that loves him some Javi, the marketing and branding potential of being in New York is off the charts. You know what I mean? I don't see him leaving the Mets. I mean,
yeah, the only thing that's screwing up the Mets right now, they still don't have a GM.
Right. Well, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't.
Dude, could you imagine if Noah Syndergaard rejects the qualifying offer and someone scoops him up on a prove-it deal, like prove to us your arm won't fall off, and he turns out to be the next Robbie Ray?
Well, I was gonna say I would want the Cubs to do it, but I don't think the Cubs are gonna want to give up the draft pick.
Right.
But I would immediately do 1 year, $23 million. Who the fuck cares? Let's go, Noah.
Let's see if you can do it.
Yeah.
I
don't think he will.
As a Sox fan, I would love that too. I would have been like, let's fucking go, dude.
That would be, yeah.
That's what I'm saying,
the thing
dude.
with it shouldn't matter to the Cubs, but like it's gonna end up mattering the fucking qualifying offer.
Yep, the qualifying offer.
So Yumper brought him up a couple weeks ago, and I have heard the Cubs are apparently interested in him, the Japanese slugger.
Yep.
Seiya Suzuki.
See ya.
See, I mean, print the shirts, right?
Right. That's just built in gold.
And over at Fangraphs, we had the projections that 4 years, $40 million. And we were talking about him a little bit before, and we're like, normally the Japanese guys, it's kind of a lot of miss, a little hit, but.
And outside of Ohtani, a lot of them come over when they're like 36.
Right. Like these guys, they'll come over when they're like past their prime, basically. But this guy is only 27. So I'm very interested in the Cubs possibly getting him. Again, he's a power hitter. It's not like these guys who come over here and they're just contact guys and you worry about their game translating to, MLB pitching.
Mhm.
But I don't expect this guy to come over wherever he plays and hit like 40 home runs, but he's shown he has real pop. Like he could probably be a 20 home run hitter in the MLB. So keep an eye on Sia. Sia? I hope I'm saying that right.
No,
Sia.
he is Sia. I hope that's not like
I hope so.
disrespectful or anything, but it's an awesome nickname.
Suzuki.
Yeah.
Double
But yeah,
S.
no, I could totally see Sia getting 4 years, $42 million.
Yeah, something like that. And again, this isn't a guy who's like, oh, he's 32. He's past his prime. He's still 27.
Right.
But yeah, no, the other guy, I mean, the name that excites me because we've seen him like talked about a little is Kevin Gossman. He's 31.
I don't know
He's
why.
the guy who's going to get paid, but
I don't know why I really have a feeling that he's going to go to the Cubs. I really do.
He doesn't have the qualifying offer attached to him, so the Cubs don't have to worry about that. He's
Right.
a strikeout pitcher, gets a lot of swings and misses, which the Cubs desperately need because even with Wade Miley, like Kevin brought up, he's not a big strikeout guy. He will strike out some guys, but he's not the power arm. Cubs need that power arm in the rotation. And man, that would be good. He's been great, and apparently the Cubs have loved him. I think they said
him 5 years, $110 million.
Yes.
Love
Oh,
him?
that I do that right now. Yeah, 5 for 110. Is that the average?
Yep.
Oh, yes. Sign me up.
5
Because
for
I've
110.
seen as high as like 6 for 150 or something crazy like that.
Yeah. Pitcher, you pay for pitching though.
Yeah, that's the thing with free agents in general.
Yeah.
You're going to overpay. And I mean that's just the business, guys. You're going to overpay.
That is what it is. And I just want to say that you've been hearing me mention a lot throughout the course of the show, and I know we're an hour and 20 minutes in, so I probably should do this at the beginning of the show. If you think of it, Aldo, remind me to do it again at the beginning of next week.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking a lot about average. There's a Twitter guy. His name's John Becker. You can follow him at John Becker. It's JONBECKER _. He put together this Google document. It's just insane. It's like, it's perfect for anybody that's into this like we are. If you're still watching this show an hour and 20 minutes into it, you're probably one of these people. He works at Fangraphs. He works at Rotographs. He's a stat nerd. He's from Illinois. He's kind of a hometown guy. Good dude. But this spreadsheet, like it has all these tabs, like with rankings, total spending projections, and he does all these other sites and he puts the average, and it's very easy to follow. I mean, homeboy's got like split signings tab. He's got an international signings tab. He has like, dude, he even
has like the needs, right? The team needs.
Yeah,
they
he has
even have
the
a spot
team
open.
needs. Like he has all this shit, dude. And I was debating on whether I was going to bring it up, but you got to give this dude props because I'm basically copying his homework this whole offseason. He did the work. It's phenomenal. Again, it's at John Becker. JON is how he spells John. So Becker spelled just how you think, but JON for John. Maybe we should have, I don't know. I've never heard him talk or like his personality, but it'd be interesting to have him on. What are we doing in the draft? Holy shit, David. I don't even know where the White Sox draft this year. It's going to be down there.
Like
NFL. Oh, David. Oh, buddy. Baseball show, bud. Baseball show. Bears need Bears. Just get off.
Well, I don't think the Bears have a first rounder, so there's that.
There's that. And they should just draft all offensive linemen. And DBs. Yeah. Just do that.
And then more linemen.
And then more linemen.
And then like a wide receiver. No.
Yeah, sprinkle in a safety maybe because Eddie Jackson can't hit. He's like scared to tackle all of a sudden. It's weird. And that was talking football.
There you go.
So I don't know. You got anything else for tonight?
No, I mean it's again just off season's barely kicked off. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of speculation. We'll probably do a lot of similar shows for the next 3 months. So sit back.
Yeah, we're gonna try to start lining up a little bit of guests here to mix it up a little bit. But yeah,
Yep.
so
Maybe some players, future players.
yeah, I know Fitz has his boys ready to go.
The
So
Vegas crew. Yeah.
the Vegas crew coming through. Yeah, so Fids was here earlier. So for Fids, who just posted his pictures, looks like plenty of good seats available if anybody wants to join him at the UNLV basketball game. That's Aldo Amzo. You can find us at Pinwheels and at Pinwheels Ivy Pod on Twitter. We'll talk to you guys next week. Smell you later.